In this episode, we will use COUNTIF function to count the number of entries that meet a certain condition or criteria. We will use the terms, condition, and criteria interchangeably. Then, we will expand on that, and use the COUNTIFs function to count the number of entries that meet more than one condition. Column A shows the names of students. Column B shows their scores, and column C shows a special character assigned to each student. In cell E2, we will get Excel to count the number of students with names beginning with D. We will key in equal, COUNTIF. The range is this. We will specify the criteria, in between quotations, the letter D, followed by an asterisk. The asterisk is a wildcard character that matches any sequence of characters. Close the bracket, and view the result. It shows a count value of 3. This is correct because we have 3 names beginning with D. That is, Dave, Dan and Don. What if we want Excel to count the number of names that starts with a D, and ends with an N? We will edit the criteria from D, an asterisk, to D, question mark, and N. The question mark is another wildcard character that matches any single character. Close the bracket to view the result. The count value is 2, for Dan and Don. These two are the only names that meet the criteria. In this case, the question mark matched the single character A, for Dan, and O, for Don. We will now get Excel to count the number of scores that were greater than 80. In cell F2, key in equal, COUNTIF. The range is this. The criteria is, in between quotations, the symbol for greater than, and 80. We get a count of 3 scores that are greater than 80. We can also use COUNTIF on symbols. Let's count the number of exclamation points. In cell G2, key in equal, COUNTIF. The range is this. Type in the criteria, in between quotations, the symbol, exclamation point. We get a count of 4, which is correct. Do note that if we want to count the number of question marks, or the number of asterisks, we need to type in the tilde symbol, in front of it in the criteria. This is to make sure that Excel understands we are not using them as wildcards. Let's try it by editing the COUNTIF criteria. Type in tilde, and then question mark. We see that it correctly counted 2 question marks. Let us move on to see how we can use COUNTIFs when we have more than one criteria. In this example, we want Excel to give us the count value that meets all 3 criteria. The name must begin with D, the score must be greater than 80, and finally, the entry must have an exclamation point. Do note that Excel will only count an entry if it meets all 3 criteria. In cell I2, key in equal, COUNTIFs. Make sure to include the S. The first range is this. The first criteria is, in between quotations, D, and asterisk. The second range is this. The second criteria is, in between quotations, greater than 80. The third range is this. The third criteria is, in between quotations, exclamation point. Close the bracket. We see the count is 1. So, can you see which entry met all 3 criteria? That's right, it is Dave. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. Thanks for watching and see you in the next episode.